It wasn't always pretty, but the result the same as the 12 times before. UConn beating Oklahoma in the first round for the record-tying 13th straight NCAA tournament win. Business as usual for head coach Dan Hurley.
You know the quality that we're playing against. Obviously, we had a chance to see Florida in some of the cross scouts of watching, Oklahoma. We were able to see them and prepare for that. But yeah, I mean, I think we're a dangerous team. I think we're a dangerous team because, again, most people picked us, I think, to lose the, probably to lose the first game, and I don't think many people will give us a shot in the second one.
8 games in all on Sunday, including a triple header on CBS, starting with that UConn-Florida game. The last 2 teams, by the way, to go back-to-back. Followed by Cooper, Flagg, and Duke taking on Baylor. And later in the evening, Ole Miss, who knocked out North Carolina in the round of 64, will face Iowa State. Russ Thaler here on the set of CBS Sports HQ with Dan Dickau and Tim Doyle, a couple of former legendary players. And we're talking about a legendary coach in Dan Hurley. Back-to-back national championships, still with the chip on his shoulder, still says nobody thinks we can win this game against Florida. One, do they have a chance? If so, how or why not?
Well, I think they have a chance, but they don't have the roster, UConn doesn't, like they had last year. Florida has a roster this year that's a little bit more like what UConn's has been in the past. So I think they really have to limit the point guard, Clayton Jr. They've got to do a tremendous job on the glass because they don't have the size that UConn has had as well as the last few years. Sanogo, Klingon, those guys. You're going to have to get tremendous production from somebody other than Caravan, who isn't necessarily your main leading scorer, but he always provides those versatile, unique points that carry into winning.
Yeah, he made a huge 3. He had a huge floater, Caravan. He had a big block. We were all kind of waiting for him to go from a 5th, 4th guy to a 1-2, and some guys are just more 5th, 4th guys, like role guys. I believe UConn will have the best pro on the court in this game, and that's Liam McNeely. Now, ironically, he was high school teammates with Cooper Flagg and Derek Queen. Probably one of the greatest high school teams ever. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If they didn't lose a game. But when I see Liam McNeely, when UConn's been at its best this year, well, that's when McNeely has really gone off. And when he's been at his worst, well, they've really struggled. Check out the last 2 games, right? He's 8 of 33 from the field. He's 1 of 13. When they went to Creighton, UConn went to Creighton this year and won. What did McNeely have? 38 points. When they beat Dan Dickau's Gonzaga team this year, what did Liam McNeely have? 26 points and had a massive performance. Is UConn going to win this game? No, they're not. But if they're going to be in the ball game, if they're going to have a chance, this guy has to have a career game. He needs to be 25 or more. And I just gave you 2 examples against 2 teams that are still playing that he could go out and have a massive impact.
But that's one of the things about freshmen, though. Sometimes what you don't know actually helps you. So he could step up to the big moment in March and will them to a victory.
Do you agree? You think he's the best pro on the court in this game?
I do, because he's younger, too. I think when you look at Florida's skill and their talent, they're transfers. They've been in other places where McNeely, you've seen the talent from the high school ranks on up, and you've seen some of those explosive performances like he had the 2 games you mentioned.
Yeah, and so what we need to see from McNeely, he ain't shy. 33 shots the last 2 games. He's got to shoot the ball 18, 19 times. He's got to shoot the ball 22 times. My friend shot the ball 24 times against Wyoming in a game, NCAA tournament game. Didn't go in a lot. We can't have a day. We can't. Sorry.
I mean,
He brought it up. I didn't know about the game.
All right. I think you already mentioned the name of the guy who we know is going to be the best pro, or at least thinks going to be the best pro in the next game we're going to talk about. I'll move on. You can't do that to my man
He
here.
said it. Oh,
He's our
sorry,
guest
Dan,
today.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Cooper Flagg.
I'm going to start looking at your stats.
Taking on Baylor. Baylor won the national title in 2021. They've lost in the second round now, 3 years running. And here they are coming up against a Duke team with Cooper Flagg that is just rolling at this point. How do you see the matchup between Baylor and Duke, Dan?
Cooper Flagg's healthy. They're going to walk all the way to the Final Four and being in the title game. I just think with Cooper Flagg is healthy, he impacts the game in so many ways that you have to focus on him, and then it makes the game easier on Proctor and Knipple and Malawach. If you don't put all your focus on Cooper Flagg. Then next thing you look up, he's got 24 and 9 and 7 assists. He's just unbelievable talent.
Yeah, do you have them winning it all? Because you said you have them in the finals.
I don't. I have Florida.
So do I, pal.
Here we
All right,
go.
we're back on
the same page.
Now you.
Okay, we're back. Okay, sorry.
You started this, by the way.
Totally agree with everything you said. It's pretty cool. I hosted a high school game between these two freshman stars last year, Cooper Flagg and VJ Edgecombe. And I actually went to VJ's high school. And when I saw this opportunity to promote it, I wanted to promote it as a boxing event. Doesn't this have boxing feels, Russ?
Well, the poster looks like a boxing.
Yeah, because I knew we were going to watch something really special. Now, Cooper Flagg's high school team was #1 in the country, and Lehigh at that time was #2 in the country. And the game was supposed to be competitive. It was not. It was all Mount Verde. They won that game by 30 to be exact. But if you haven't seen Edgecombe play, this may be a stretch. He reminds me a little bit of a Ray Allen. You know, he's only a freshman, but he can shoot the three. He's really athletic. He really blew up for the Bahamas playing alongside of pros this summer. But Cooper Flagg, I've been saying this from after that game. I actually traveled from that high school game to the NBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, and I told Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal I just saw a Hall of Famer play. And they said, oh, you're only saying that because he's white. I said, no, I'm not saying that because I go, he is a Hall of Famer. The guy's motor is tremendous. And the fact that he played in a 1-versus-16, I'm curious, what did you think of him playing in that game? When you saw him playing, what was your initial thought?
Competitor.
That's exactly.
And that's what separates the guys who are very talented with skills and the guys that are these true superstars and the difference makers. And I think Cooper Flagg is a difference maker.
Dude came in at 17 years old, almost immediately became a leader on that Duke team. He's got a 4.0 at Duke. Special guy, special player.
But he's only going one semester. That's easy classes. Come on, bro.
Dude, 4.0 is a 4.0.
Yeah, I had a 4.0 at Northwestern, one summer school. Does that impress you?
How many classes you take?
2.
Well done out of you. Look, big chalk first round across the board, but we still do have a 9, a 10, and a 12 going on Sunday. Now, you don't have to pick one of those teams, but we are looking for maybe an upset pick from one of the 8 games on Sunday. Dan, who you got?
I got Colorado State over Maryland. I called a lot of games in the Mountain West this year. Colorado State won the Mountain West tournament title. They've now won 11 games in a row. Kyan Evans hit 6 threes, a career-high 23 in that opening round win. And Nick Clifford, their best player, best pro prospect in that league, didn't even necessarily have a great game in the first round. He's a guy that could give you 25, 12, with 7 assists without even breaking a sweat. Now, Maryland's a different level, physicality, athleticism than most teams in the Mountain West. But if he plays well, Kyan Evans plays well, I'm taking Colorado State.
You know, I had Maryland as a team. I don't love their region. They're in Florida's region, so obviously I have Florida winning it all. So I think you know how I have Maryland's season ending. But they're a handful. Derek Queen reminds me of like a Zach Randolph, Antoine Walker hybrid. You can put the ball on the floor, you can post up. But Colorado State's hot right now. And that's a team you don't want to run into. I think I'm trying to like wish this. I think St. Mary's has a really strong chance against Alabama. You don't know which Alabama team you're going to get. And if you're getting the team that's not guarding anybody, well, maybe this is the game St. Mary's finally makes some threes. Why can't they make any threes? Like, is this... Am I wishing them to make shots, or can they make 8 or 9 threes?
Well, they've got St. Mary's has a number of capable shooters, but they've never seemingly put it all together in the same game throughout the year. I mean, Jordan Ross hits a couple in the first round. There's been games, Augustus Marshallonis has hit a couple. Their freshman off the bench, Mikey Lewis, he's the most confident to take any shot of any of the perimeter players in regards to from beyond the arc. So I do like this pick, and I want to hear more of why you're thinking that way.
Yeah, we got contrasting styles. I think Alabama wants to score 90, and Randy Bennett's like, cool, we could play in like the 50s or 60s, and they can grind them out. You got an excellent point guard matchup. Mark Sears is kind of a Jalen Brunson-like, but, you know, Augustus Marshallonis doesn't make too many mistakes. He plays with pace. Like, this is the game St. Mary's can't shoot 15% from 3, they're going to get run off the court. They may lose this game by 20. But if they make shots, establish a lead, control tempo, if you control tempo, you get Alabama in a half-court game, they're really going to struggle. Ole Miss beat them. Even Ole Miss beat them. 64 points they held them to this year. So I think St. Mary's has a real shot, but a number of threes, They like to hold their opponents to under 5 threes. I don't think they're going to do that against Alabama. I think they're going to have to make at least 8 or more in this game.
On that note, we'll cut it right there, but we got 8 great games to look forward to on Sunday. Looking forward to it. Dan Dickau and Tim Doyle. Gentlemen, thank you very much. The madness is here. Don't miss a moment of the action on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. And download the March Madness Live app to watch every game, anywhere, anytime, live.